Hey, everyone's still asking the same question. Let's talk about it. I know what this video looks like from the title. Probably some doom content who is made to farm angry comments from people who are down on their backs. That's what you think this is. It's not that. But I am going to tell you something that you don't really want to hear, which is the all season you're waiting for, refreshing that dominance chart for. It's probably not coming. Not the way you're picturing it. Not this cycle. And look, I'm not acting here like I'm above what I'm saying. It's not like I'm not also refreshing those same charts waiting for my same alts to finally make a move. I'm just going to walk you through the thing that we're all waiting for might actually be structurally broken instead of just late. But okay, real talk starts now. So here's the old playbook. If you have been around more than one cycle, you already know this by heart. You've lived it. Bitcoin runs first. And that's when money used to rotate out of Bitcoin into alts. That rotation is what alt season actually was. It wasn't just a random mood for the crypto space, right? It wasn't people just deciding to get excited. It was capital physically moving from one place to another. That happened in 2017. It happened again in 2021. And so everybody's basically trained at this point to expect the same thing to happen a third time, like clockwork, like it's owed to them. 2026. It was the point where we all expected alts to finally start moving up once Bitcoin started to drop. Expect this time there's a variable that didn't exist the last two times. And I think it's the actual reason a lot of you are sitting there pissed off wondering where are your gains? Well, three words: spot, Bitcoin, ETFs. Here's the part that's actually annoying to sit with because it's not a fun thing to realize. A huge amount of the new money coming into crypto right now isn't coming through an exchange where it might eventually rotate into some alt once somebody gets comfortable. It's coming in through an ETF. It's a financial advisor clicking a button for some guy's retirement account. That money is never going anywhere near an altcoin. It doesn't even know altcoins exist. Just literally bought a ticker that said BTC, and boom, their exposure for crypto is done. In the old cycles, when Bitcoin ran, retail took some profits and went looking for bigger multiples in alts. That's what actually filled the whole thing up. Now, a big chunk of new capital just sits in Bitcoin. It doesn't rotate anywhere. It's parked in a wrapper that was built literally to never touch an altcoin. That's why Bitcoin has had basically an entire cycle, right, from going up to stabilizing to reaching an all-time high and going back down, while altcoins basically did nothing, because the rotation that used to drive this entire cycle got a huge amount of its fuel siphoned off before it even got anywhere near you. And there's a second part to this that I think most people are sleeping on as well. The institutions coming in right now mostly think of Bitcoin as digital gold. That's the whole thesis. They are not looking at the 90% of the altcoin markets, and they're not going to. Even Ethereum, which got its own ETF, which was supposed to be the second horse people could actually get exposure to, has seen way weaker inflows than Bitcoin. Like, look at this. It has 10 to 20 million of inflows or outflows every single day, while Bitcoin is experiencing hundreds of millions. So the difference is insane. If Ethereum can't really pull serious institutional interest, what odds does some coin you're bag holding with made up utility case actually have? Think about it for a second. So you end up with two completely different markets stacked on top of each other. Bitcoin gets the big institutional bid. Everything else is left fighting over whatever retail money is left and whatever story happens to be hot that week. And that's basically why you're getting these short little pumps in one lane at a time. AI coins run for 2 weeks, then some meme coin thing takes over. Instead of the broad, everything is green altcoin season. You remember that broad move needs broad rotation, and broad rotation just isn't there anymore. So if the old mechanism is basically running on nothing, what's actually replacing it? Well, you're getting narrative bumps. Money chases whatever story is hot right now, moves in fast, moves out fast, and doesn't drag the rest of the market up with it the way a real rotation used to. This is exactly why so many of you are sitting on mid and low caps that are still down bad, even though Bitcoin's been sideways for months. If the old alt season still existed, this move right here when Bitcoin was starting to go down from all-time highs and started consolidating right here, your bags should have been, 10, 100, 1000xing, right? They should have been ripping through the sky, but it didn't. It just dropped alongside Bitcoin, and they didn't do shit. That gap between what should be happening and what's actually happening, that's basically the entire point of this video. Now, I'm not up here saying alts are dead forever. That's just as lazy as saying alt season is guaranteed to show up, because it did the last 2 times. I don't do certainty on this channel. I do odds. So here's what I think actually needs to happen for all of these alts to start moving. Well, first of all, Bitcoin dominance needs to drop and stay down, not one weekly candle, an actual trend. If you take a look at this chart right here, you can see if we go back to 2017, basically how the entire playbook worked is that once Bitcoin started to pump, Bitcoin dominance rises, then Bitcoin starts to cool off, starts to consolidate, and the dominance drops. That means that money is starting to rotate into alts. Now, this happened for 2017, and the next bull run was 2021. So you see the same again playbook exactly happened. Bitcoin dominance pumps, then it drops off sharply. Now here we run into 2026. You can see that from 2022, this chart has slowly been grinding up ever since without any actual major correction. This is the biggest correction we got. Compare this to what we have right here. The difference is very clear. We need for Bitcoin dominance to severely drop down in order for alts to have a running chance in the market again. Now, the next thing is that institutions need to start allocating into alts directly, which right now just isn't happening in real size. And retail needs to come back and actually start rotating hard again instead of just sitting in ETFs and stables waiting. None of those 3 things are firing right now, not one of them. And until at least a couple of them do, sitting around waiting for alt season to just arrive because Bitcoin finally starts dropping or consolidating for a minute is setting yourself to be, again, disappointed. So let's wrap this up. Alts right now aren't pumping because the rotation that used to create alt season got hit hard by ETFs and by institutional money that has zero interest in ever leaving Bitcoin. Instead of a broad outperformance in the market, you're getting sharp single narrative pumps in the way that don't take the rest of the market with them. But it doesn't really mean that alts are going to be dead. It means that the bar set for altcoins, of course, to have an altcoin season again, is set higher than ever. And if you're just sitting there watching coin market cap, seeing if any alts are rising today and hoping that your bags are going to be recovering, well, then you are pretty retarded. Regardless, there are still opportunities in the space. We still see narratives. We still see those come up in the space where you can take your advantage, where you can still earn a substantial amount of money from basically just being exposed to crypto. But of course, if you are expecting that regular alt season to come, well, I wouldn't place my money on it anytime soon.